What's happening, everyone? Today, we're going to be doing the biceps tier list. Let's get into it. This is my first tier list video. Pretty excited about it, actually. I feel like bicep exercises are one of those things I have a really big, pet peeve with because a lot of people do really bad ones. I'm going to go through. I'm going to do each of these. Obviously, we have S tier, A tier, B, C, D, E. Do not use under any circumstances. The do not use under any circumstances tier is pretty obvious. E tier is going to be kind of like they have a very, very, very niche circumstance that you can use them for, but they're not very good. D is like kind of the same, but just better. And C is like they're good average bicep exercises. B is just slightly better than C. And then A is like S tier, but there's something holding them back. And S tier is the exercise is perfect in every single way. So the first exercise is the zottoman curl. Not a very common exercise. It's where you do a regular bicep curl, and then on the eccentric, you do this with your forearm. It's okay. I'm gonna put it in E tier because it's okay. An exercise for the biceps alone, it's not very good because your forearms will be the limiting factor holding your dumbbell like this. So as an exercise for just the biceps, it's not good at all.
I read about
but you just do regular curls instead. But as a way of incorporating some more forearm work, if you get lagging forearms and stuff, it's okay. So I can see that being the very niche aspect to use, and that would be the E tier right there. Next, we have incline curls. So we're starting off with the heavy hitter here. In my opinion, incline curls are an S tier exercise. Reason being, stretch mediated hypertrophy is the best way to grow muscle. What that means is during the lengthened position, so like your arm being behind you, being in a stretched position under load, which is exactly what the incline curl does. It's pretty easy to set up. All you need is a bench and 2 dumbbells, so it's really easy to do. You can progress on it really well. I've gotten to the point where I can do 55-pound dumbbells on incline curls. But yeah, in my opinion, incline curls are the best bicep exercise. I am putting them in S tier, absolutely. And there's no real downside to them. The strength curve is really good. There's not this section where just the weight isn't doing anything. Chin-ups. So using your chin-ups as your bicep work this is going to be a little bit of a hot take here. Athlete X is going to try to fucking dox me or something. But I actually don't think that doing chin-ups for your biceps is a good move. Me personally, I like doing chin-ups because that's what actually activates my lats the most. I know it's counterintuitive for a lot of people, but for me personally, overhand grip actually takes my lats out of the movement as much, and my biceps actually get more fatigued. Just different grips, different things for different people. But I like chin-ups as just a regular back exercise. I've never been a whole fan of the whole you can get big arms without ever isolating them thing. So if you're using your chin-ups for your biceps, don't use them for your biceps. They're more of a back exercise. Hey everyone, Future Seth here. I just realized that my explanation for the why not to use them made no sense. So I'm re-recording it. Basically, the reason you don't want to use them for your biceps, if the chin-ups fatigue your biceps enough, then it's probably actually going to take away from the muscle that should be worked on the pull-ups, which is your back, and your back gains will probably be limited by how strong your biceps are. For your biceps, chin-ups, do not use them as your bicep exercise. You may get some extra gains out of them just from a little bit of getting some work on the biceps, like reverse curls. They're like the zottoman curl, but even less good for your bicep. You're going to have pretty much no stretch at all. I never use these for the biceps personally. They should always be used for the forearms. This is a forearm exercise. That's going in the do not use tier. Preacher curls. Preacher curls are really good. They have a good stretch position. They're going to be out here more, so they work more of the short head of the biceps. Only downside is possible risk of bicep tear, which, if you do the exercise right, that's not going to happen. One of those things, kind of like upright rows, where it's if you do the exercise well, you're not going to get fucked up. But if you train like an absolute fucking mongoloid, of course it's going to fucking hurt you. The reason that the whole bicep tear thing happens is because whenever you have the preacher curl station right there, some people, instead of flexing their bicep to get the weight into position, they'll dig their arm into the bench and use that to leverage their arm to curl it up, and their bicep is under load that it actually can't handle very well. So then on the way down, pop, done. Biceps are gone. Preacher curls, they're gonna go in the I'm gonna put them in the A tier. A tier is good. Personally, for this exercise, I would like to say the dumbbell versus barbell versus easy bar, like really all of them have their benefits. It just depends on which grip works best for you. That's why I didn't separate them into different exercises. We have regular, standing, curl. Regular ass curls are good. They're a good exercise. You can do them together. You can do them alternating. I'd say they're a good B tier exercise. The only downside to regular ass curl is there's not really a stretch position, which like is of course the most hypertrophic range, but also people tend to cheat the weight a little bit more. Preacher curls, like, yeah, you can cheat the weight by doing this. And like incline curls, another reason I think they're an S tier, because it's really hard to cheat the weight on incline curls because there's nothing you can dig your arm into. And your shoulder's in a really bad position to where you can't like lift your front delt to get it up. This dumbbell curls do not have that same problem though. Your front delt's going to be hella strong in the front, and whenever you're standing up right here, your front delt's going to be hella strong. So that does hold it back just a little bit from being in the A tier. Cable curls, I'm going to put these in, I'm going to put them in B tier, and I'm actually going to move regular curls down to C tier. Cable curls, they're good if you feel elbow pain on like regular curls. If you have any kind of elbow pain, you can switch over to cable curls and it'll actually take your elbow pain away. I think they're just a slightly better version of regular curls and barbell curls because they're going to be able to have the better stimulus to fatigue ratio. Bicep 21s. If you don't know what a 21 curl is, basically, you do 7 reps halfway up. Then you do 7 reps here. Then you do 7 reps full. So this exercise is good, but very niche. By super niche, I mean like the exercise is only really good if you have like a terrible like mind muscle connection with your bicep, or you can't get like a pump at all. It can also be used for like a metabolite training. However, it's pretty difficult to track. I have used 21s a lot in the past just to get a better pump. I usually use them before I do an Instagram photo. The main problem is that this portion right here fatigues the out of you. And ask anybody who does 21s, that is the hardest part of the exercise. And as we know from stretch mediated hypertrophy, that is the least hypertrophic range, and it's the hardest range to do. You'd be much better off just doing the half reps, the lengthened partials, and then the full reps. So it just like it fatigues you a little bit too much, but that is the portion of the movement that is also really good if somebody really struggles to feel their muscle. So I'm not saying it's useless. I'm just saying if you have trouble feeling the bicep and you never get a pump, or you're trying to do some kind of metabolite overload, bicep 21s could be good. They're just a bit niche for me. I'm going to put them in D tier. Hey, look at that. We have one in every single tier now. Let's go. Hey, everyone. PSA time again. I say this in every video, but thank you guys so much. And please subscribe. Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I've been putting a lot of effort into the videos I've been making. And I've been really enjoying making videos lately. I'm really trying to help people. And also, one thing I haven't been talking about that I really want to right now is I really enjoy the comments, everybody. Thank you so much for commenting. I'm going to start doing this thing where every time I put up a video, I'm going to put up my favorite comments since that video. So I'm going to put up some of my favorite comments right now that have really like helped me. Big shout out to these guys for really helping me and helping me with my inspiration. You guys are awesome. And please comment in the future because I really do read every single comment and I try to respond to every single comment too. That's the benefit of, I guess, this channel being pretty small right now is I get to talk to everybody and make the most of it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe. Please send this to other people. And let's get back to the video. Waiter curls. They're kind of similar to the bicep 21s. They're pretty good for like getting a mind muscle connection. Great movement for beginners because they're usually not strong enough to run into difficulties with this movement. I can only put it as far as D tier though, because it's really only good for beginners, if I'm being real with you, or people who just aren't very strong. Once you get to a point where you're waiter curling like the heavy ass dumbbells, it becomes really awkward movement to get in a position for. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the movement just fine, and I do program it for beginners who like have a hard time feeling their muscles working because it takes the wrist out of it. Your shoulder's already bent forward, so that peak contraction is really fucking strong. You feel your biceps working on that if you have never felt them before. However, standing in that hunched over position with the dumbbell out here is really hard. It's really like awkward feeling, and it's just not great for overloading after a certain amount of time. It gets too hard to hold to like make it realistic. Next we have this looks like a machine preacher curl. Okay, machine preacher curls are amazing. I actually love machine preacher curls. I think that this is everything about the regular preacher curl, but like you just tend to feel it a little bit better. I am going to put it still down in A tier though, because a lot of machines are not very good. So like, you know how I've been talking a lot about the stretch position being the best for muscle growth. Well, sometimes the bar, whenever you're lowering it, will stop like right here and you're not actually getting a stretch. So like sometimes the machines just aren't very good. That's the main reason that I have to put it in A tier rather than S tier. However, other than that, you feel amazing hedging to the muscle. You can kind of like churn your hand over. I personally like to like put my pinky in front so I can have my like pinky up a little bit more. Now, you know what? I have to drop it down to B tier. I have to drop it down to B tier. Me personally, I like it more than preacher curls, but a lot of the time the handles are like this instead of like this, which if you actually want your biceps to feel a little bit more, try to touch your pinky to your shoulder. Well, the handles are like this, so they naturally put this part of your hand a little bit forward. So me personally, I always have to modify the movement by doing this. Hammer curls. Hammer curls are okay. I'm gonna put hammer curls in the do not use territory. All right, you skinny bicep bitch, that's it. You just dissed my favorite exercise. I bet whenever you turn to the front, your bicep looks like it belongs to a starving child. That's it. We're settling this shit like the old west. Okay, that's it. Take 10 steps and we're gonna fucking shoot each other. Okay. Jesus Christ, man. Let me finish. I just mean that there's a better exercise than this to do in pretty much every scenario. I just think there's a much better option is my only thing. Like there's just always going to be a better option of doing a hammer curl. Like, and I'll explain a little bit better, like what exercise is going to be better, but like, I just don't think you should ever use one. Spider curls. Spider curls are also good. I'm going to put them in A tier. They're very similar to preacher curls. Okay, so spider curls are just as good as preacher curls. They do the exact same thing. They work the short head and everything like that. They're less dangerous than preacher curls, which is why I would put them in S tier. However, I'm still going to keep them on A tier because you can still cheat the movement pretty well by lifting your shoulder. You can lift your shoulder more in this position because it's a lot stronger now. Also, the stretch isn't as good because gravity isn't working like on the muscle it's out here. It's working on it like facing straight down. Crucifix curl, just not a very good movement. I just don't like it very much. It can be used, sure, if that's just like the exercise that like really gets you fucking jazzed up and like ready to go, then like by all means do it. And I'll put it in D tier. You can use it. It's just fine. There's not very much of a stretch. I want to move it down to E tier because it's super hard to set up. Reason it's hard to set up is because usually you have to take up 2 cable stations, which is in a commercial gym is pretty hard to do because people are usually using all of them. But also like you have to find the cable stations that are far enough apart to get a good stretch on the bicep in that like lengthened position. It is a good D tier exercise if you can use it. D or C tier exercise if you can get some use out of it. You know what? Okay, it's a C tier exercise. I'll move it up, but I'm putting in D tier because of the difficulty of access. Regular ass barbell curls. I think this is a solid C tier exercise as well. It's just as good as the dumbbell curl. They do a lot of the same thing, but some people feel barbell curls a lot more. Barbell curls are a lot more fun, if I'm being real. The only thing about the barbell curl is that sometimes it's pretty heavy on fatigue, but it makes up for it because you can get hella overload on it. You can become really, really strong at barbell curls. You can see somebody barbell curling 135. Don't get me wrong, it's pretty rare, but you can find somebody who can do it. But it's pretty rare that you find somebody who is curling like 67.5 pound dumbbells in each hand. It's at least with good form. You know, you'll find somebody who fucking jumping the weight up there and jerking off the dumbbell, right? We have behind the back cable curls. So these are an S tier exercise. They're just like incline curls in pretty much every single way, but actually the tension is even better. I am going to dock some points and put them in A tier though, because of the ease of access. Once again, for crucifix curls, it's just hard to get all of the you want, but keep in mind this is an S tier exercise. I'll go through and organize these all afterwards. I'm going to move it to the front of A tier. Concentration curls. I think the concentration curls they're okay. Kind of like crucifix curls, like they're just, you can use them. They kind of suck because you have to do one arm at a time, but like they are good for like, you know, I'm putting them in C tier. C tier is okay. If it's done correctly, it's a good exercise. You know, you have the people who like wrench their weight over their thigh like this. That shit doesn't do anything. And yeah, that's an F tier exercise that they do that. Barbell cheat curls. I am putting these in B tier. If these are done well, they're a really good exercise because the concentric is the least hypertrophic range of the motion. The eccentric is really good. The stretch is the only thing that's not very present on there. However, you will get more stretch-mediated hypertrophy because on cheat curls, you're using heavier weight than you are on barbell curls. That's the reason I think they're a little bit better than regular barbell curls, because barbell curls, the concentric is the hardest portion. And so if you can cheat the way up, you can get a way heavier eccentric and lead to more hypertrophy. They would be an A tier, and they could be even an S tier if they weren't fucked up so much. Next, we have drag curls. So drag curls, they're pretty good. If you do this, you really feel the muscle like really cranked right there. The only problem is that they are kind of hard to get down. They're hard to overload on. So I'm putting them in C tier for that reason, but they are a great exercise. Flexed arm hang. I just wouldn't really use this as a bicep exercise. Don't get me wrong, isometrics build muscle, they create tension, they create pump, they factor all the factors, right? However, isometrics are not in the stress position usually. They fatigue you like a motherfucker, and they are the least hypertrophic type of resistance. You can use them to get a good mind muscle connection with your biceps. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. They'll go there. They're not great though. Okay. They're not a good exercise. Next, looks like we have lying down dumbbell curls. In theory, this exercise is amazing. It has all the same benefits of the incline curl. However, it has a lot of downsides that suck. We'll talk about the good first. If this exercise was done perfectly, I would put it in A tier. Only reason it wouldn't be S tier is because of the unnecessary extra stress on the shoulder girdle. So like the ease of equipment, like it's way easier to just get an incline bench and do an incline curl because of the bad stuff. The bad stuff, well, benches are really close to the ground. So if you try to do this whole like stretch shit to get the maximum stretch on the bicep, the dumbbell just hits the floor and takes away all the stretch. If the exercise hits the floor, it's like a D tier exercise. If it doesn't hit the floor and you have a good like setup, it's an A tier exercise. It's not an S tier exercise because you'd be taking up an elevated bench or like a seal row machine. And also, like, if you're going to go through the trouble of doing a seal row curl, why not just do a regular incline curl? For that reason, I'm going to settle and put it in, like, C tier. Okay, machine curls. These are one of my favorite exercises. These things are great for developing mind muscle connection and really feeling the biceps work and getting good overload on. However, the machines for them usually suck. They take all of the stretch out of the movement at the bottom because the weight hits the rest of the stack too quickly. So for that reason, I'm going to put it in D tier. I'm going to put it at, like, the top of D tier, okay? Next, it looks like we have... Oh, okay, this is overhead curls. So actually, I love this exercise. You can get a pretty good stretch at the top, has a great peak contraction. You can't really cheat the movement too much because your front delt's already kind of flexed. You can take up a lot of space with it, which is why I don't want to put it in S tier. You know what? I want to put it in S tier, but it is less of a stretch than the other ones. So, and you have to do one arm at a time, so I'm going to put it in A tier as well. This looks like standing rope curls. So remember how I talked shit about hammer curls? This is the better version in every single conceivable way. So the main limitation with hammer curls are the dumbbell gets clunky after a while and you're just hitting your shoulder and you're really shortening your range of motion. The reason you do hammer curls is to work this outer part of your biceps right here, the brachioradialis, right? Well, if you're going to do that, just do rope curls because if you just do straight up, they allow you to get a deeper contraction. They allow more range of motion, but also at the same time, you can twist on them and you can get an even better contraction at the peak bicep, but still work the outer. Big W for this exercise right here. This is going in A tier because it's just like a better version of the cable curl in every single way, is doing it with a rope. Underhand barbell row, not good for biceps. Throw it in the same tier as chin-ups. That's a big fucking myth. Seated barbell curls. So remember how I talked about how 21s, the reason they're bad is because the hardest portion is this short contracted position. Well, now that's an entire exercise. I literally used this exercise for a while back in the day, and I lost muscle mass. You should not use it. So now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and arrange these exercises in order. So I'm going to leave this at the top of A tier. Rope curls can go like right here as well. These are about the same. Just assume these are the exact same exercise right here. You know, I'm gonna put spider curls above these two right here, and then this curl right here, B tier. I'm gonna put machine curls at the bottom because I love them and they should be at the top of the tier if they machines were set up properly. Sheet curls can go right there because they're commonly like fucked up, and then cable curls, yeah, that looks good right there. Theory, we're just kind of pretending like this exercise doesn't really exist because it's not really feasible in my opinion. Honestly, these two right here, they're very interchangeable. I'm gonna go with this order right here. These can be a better exercise if you really like them. Well, they're all kind of the same exercise if I'm being real with you. They all have the same benefits. I'll put this maybe like less because they has the least amount of stretch. I'll put these exactly like this. There we go. Curl, then flexed arm hang. Yeah, I think that's a fine order. It's the worst, definitely. Okay, this can be at the top of the tier because like not a bad exercise. It's just there's a better option in every conceivable way. These probably will get you some bicep growth, and then the reverse curl is just terrible. Damn, hell yeah. That's the tier list, everyone. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. Think about any exercises that you would switch around and do different. And also let me know what muscle group you'd want me to do next. And do me a favor and always remember, never forget.